Mr. Gomez.
Chair, members, AB 1937 underscores the importance of environmental justice as a consideration of the state's energy procurement. The bill requires utilities to demonstrate that they have undertaken all feasible efforts to meet demand with cleaner, preferred resources that are cost-effective, feasible, and reliable. If the need to procure new gas-fired generation persists, AB 1937 requires utilities to give preference to resources that are not located in communities that have borne the brunt of multiple pollution burdens for decades. Lastly, the bill clarifies existing law as it relates to eligible renewable resources to ensure that as California moves towards a clean energy economy, our underserved communities are not left behind. I have worked with the independent energy producers and utilities to resolve issues with regard to clarifying areas of concern and differentiation between procurement priorities and preferences. I will continue to work with stakeholders to resolve any outstanding issue as the bill moves forward, and I take that as my close.
Ms. Vinia moved the bill. Mr. Quirk seconded it. It does enjoy a due pass recommendation. Speakers in support? Speakers?
Hi, my name is Lauren Navarro. I'm here from Environmental Defense Fund. We're here in enthusiastic support of this bill. AB 1937 is designed to help California's most highly polluted communities see more clean air and more clean energy, and to move the state forward in building a cleaner, healthier electricity system. AB 1937's costs are minor and absorbable to the state, taking into account the impacts of power plant decisions on our most polluted communities, on the other hand, means more children can go to school and more parents can go to work. This is critical for the overall well-being of California. For these reasons, we respectfully request your aye vote today. Thank you, and please let me know if you have any questions.
Thank you.
Good morning, Madam Chair and members. Quentin Foster on behalf of the California Environmental Justice Alliance. We are also here in strong support of AB 1937 for the reasons that my colleagues stated. We are humbly requesting your aye vote today. This bill does close an existing loophole that ensures that when procurement processes are taking place at the PUC, they take into strong consideration the impacts of disadvantaged communities during their citation process. Thank you.
Additional speakers in support?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mark Fenstermaker was asked by the California League of Conservation Voters to voice their support. Thank you.
Good morning. Rico Mastrodonato, Trust for Public Land. Protecting disadvantaged communities saves money.
Morning, Chair and members. Katrina Robinson on behalf of Audubon, California, in support.
Daniel Broad on behalf of the Sierra Club, California, in support.
Any speakers in opposition?
Good morning, Amber Blix with the Independent Energy Producers Association, and we're in opposition to the current in-print version of the bill. IEP's position has mainly been that we think a lot of the issues in AB 1937 are more apt for the power plant siting process rather than the procurement process. That being said, we have been in productive conversations and discussions with Mr. Gomez's office, and they've been helpful in addressing some of our major concerns with the bill. There still is one main outstanding issue that we'd like to continue working with them on in the hopes of getting to a place where IEP can eventually remove our opposition. Thank you.
Good morning, Madam Chair. Mike Monaghan on behalf of the Coalition of California Utility Employees. As noted in the analysis, the bill was recently amended. We're going to evaluate those amendments and work with Mr. Gomez and see if we can find some common ground. Thank you.
Thank you. Department of Finance.
No file.
Seeing no questions from my colleagues, would you like to close, Mr. Gomez?
Ask for an aye vote.
That gets out on a B roll call. Thank you. Mr. Nazarian. See, you have two bills. I see Mr. Nazarian is going to give up his time to Senator Lara. Okay, just want to make sure. You have two bills. They enjoy a due pass recommendation. Will you begin with AB 2622, which is a due pass with amendments to modify the representative period?
Thank you, Madam Chair and members. AB 2622 extends for 3 years the existing lead county system and aircraft valuation methodology.
Move the bill.
Motion by Mr. Quirk and a second by Ms. Eggman.
Thank you. I can continue, or I can just keep it very brief and say there's been a lot of work put into this bill. It was extended for only 1 year last year, and we made some changes to it. We modified it. We hope that it's going to serve both the state, counties, and airlines, as well as our constituents better in the current form that it is. Thank you.
Thank you. Speakers in support.
It's on behalf of the Los Angeles County Board of Supervisors in support.
Tim Taylor on behalf of Airlines for America. I want to thank the Assemblyman for his tireless work on this issue. It's been very difficult for 2 years. And while we do have some concerns about the proposed amendments, we believe that there is a framework for negotiations that are in place, and we're very hopeful that there will be a global solution as a result of that. Thank you.
Madam Chair and members, Greg Cook, representing the County Assessors Association of California. We've been working very closely with the interested parties and with the Assemblyman, and we appreciate the work that he and his staff have put forward, and we're in strong support of the bill. Thank you.
Thank you. Any speakers in opposition? Department of Finance?
We do not have a position on this bill. There would be no fiscal impact since it maintains the current procedure for determining the value of commercial aircraft for property tax purposes.
Any questions? Would you like to close?
I ask for a vote.
I want to thank you for your hard work on this bill. I got a small taste of it, so I understand what you've been doing, and I want to thank my staff for working on it as well. That gets out on a B-roll call vote.
Thank you.
AB 2770.
Thank you, Madam Chair, again. I'll keep it brief. The Board of Equalization regulates the activities of tobacco product manufacturers and retailers, including the collection of fees and fines. This bill requires the BOE to report to the legislature their compliance with the state auditor's recommendation to eliminate the excess fund balance in the compliance fund. Thank you. I ask for a vote.
There's a motion by Mr. Quirk and a second by Ms. Bonilla. Are there speakers in support?
Madam Chair, members, Autumn Ogden with the American Cancer Society. We are working on our support, but we do agree with the author's intent that institutionalizing a system where it is clear that licensing fees have to pay for the full cost of the licensing program and excise taxes should not be used to pay for the licensing program. We further agree that excise taxes that have been diverted should be returned, and we look forward to continuing to work with the author. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other speakers in support? Speakers in opposition? Department of Finance?
No file.
Seeing no questions, would you like to close, Mr. Nazarian?
I again ask for your humble support. Thank you.
That gets out on a B roll call. Senator Lara is going to present on SB 10. This enjoys a due pass recommendation.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members. SB 10.
We have a motion by Mr. Wood and a second by Mr. Quirk.
Thank you, members. SB 10 is a bill which seeks a waiver from the federal government to allow our undocumented Californians to pay into our Affordable Care Act. Currently, they are discriminated against because the federal government does not allow undocumented folks to pay into this federal program. This bill will ask for a waiver to ensure that California becomes the first state to ensure that our undocumented immigrants who can afford to pay into the ACA without any subsidies can pay into the ACA. We know of our current undocumented population, 30% of them make a little more than what is required in terms of to be able to qualify for Medi-Cal. So we know there's a need out there. Again, the ACA depends on having more people in the system than out. We know that we're spending over $1.3 billion annually in emergency room care. This is a cost-saving measure. It allows for people to have preventative care, mental health services, dental services. And again, they will be paying this entirely on their own without any subsidies. It makes sense. Again, it chips away at this population that we're trying to ensure have access to quality care. I respectfully ask for I vote.
Speakers in support.
Good morning, Madam Chair and members. Ronald Coleman here on behalf of the California Immigrant Policy Center, here in strong support of SB 10 by Senator Lara. Covered California is now a non-federally funded, self-sustaining, self-run entity, and for that reason, we believe it's time to open up the exchange and allow undocumented individuals to purchase coverage. It would not impact the state's general fund, and all costs associated with this would be offset by fees on plans and would be recouped. Undocumented folks purchasing coverage in the exchange as Senator Lada noted, would not be receiving any financial assistance from the state or the federal government. Certainly, this is undocumented immigrants are 10% of our state's workforce, contribute $3.2 billion in taxes, also $130 billion to our state's GDP, which is greater than the GDP of our neighboring state of Nevada. For those reasons, we think that this is a common sense, reasonable approach, and think that California should have the flexibility it needs to appropriately deliver health services to its unique population.
Beth Capel on behalf of Health Access California. This measure would allow a waiver of the existing federal rules so that undocumented Californians could use their own money to purchase coverage through Covered California. It's a simple measure to include all of Californians. Thank you.
Thank you. Additional speakers in support, just your name and organization, please.
Good morning, Madam Chair and members. Gregory Kramer on behalf of Planned Parenthood Affiliates of California and strong support. We commend the authors' efforts.
Good morning. Susie Costa with the Advancement Project and strong support.
Good morning. Katia Lopez with the Latino Coalition for a Healthy California, and we are in strong support.
Laura Parr on behalf of the California Academy of Family Physicians and strong support.
Erica Cobado on behalf of the Green Lighting Institute and strong support. Rocio Gonzalez with the California Pan-Ethnic Health Network and strong support.
Andrew Medina on behalf of Asian Americans Advancing Justice California and strong support.
Michael Young on behalf of the California Labor Federation in support.
Linda Way with Western Center on Law and Poverty in strong support.
Lydia Bourne representing American Academy of Pediatrics in support.
Any speakers in opposition? Department of Finance?
No file.
Ms. Eggman.
I would just like to thank the author for bringing this forward. I think it's a huge step that we need to do to be able to make sure everybody's covered, and we also know that this program works best when it goes in bulk, and so this is just one more way of ensuring Covered California works and making sure that people get covered. So thank you very much for your tenacity and leadership on this.
Thank you.
Would you like to close, Mr. Lara?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Again, I appreciate your willingness to help us expedite this bill. We are working with the federal government. We've had very productive meetings. We need to get this bill signed by the governor as quickly as possible, as the federal government has given us a roadmap to do this as quickly as possible with the current administration. So I would respectfully ask for an aye vote.
Thank you, and that gets out on a B roll call.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Gordon? You'll be presenting on AB 2446, which enjoys a due pass recommendation.
Thank you, Madam Chair and colleagues. AB 2446 responds to a number of issues that the State Water Resources Control Board has identified regarding the review of water quality actions and drinking water actions. This bill also responds to water quality actions of regional water boards.
We have a motion by Mr. Quirk and a second by Ms. Bonilla.
Most importantly and somewhat rarely, as this committee analysis notes, this bill will actually result in cost savings. I'd respectfully ask for an aye vote.
Any speakers in support? Speakers in opposition? Department of Finance?
No file.
Seeing no questions, would you like to close?
Respectfully ask for an aye vote.
That gets out on a B roll call with Mr. Gallagher not voting. Thank you, Mr. Gordon. Seeing nobody in the audience, Ms. Bonilla? Oh, Mr. O'Donnell. Mr. O'Donnell. You can come on up if you're ready.
I appreciate your velocity, Madam Chair.
AB 1771 enjoys a due pass as amended to exempt minors who supervise or aid due to coercion or duress. Would you like to present?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair and committee members. Good morning. I would like to say
There's
that
a motion.
I'm sorry?
There's a motion by Mr. Bigelow, second by Ms. Bonilla.
I would like to say that I accept the amendments offered by the Chair and thank her staff for working with my office on these amendments. Today, I'm pleased to present AB 1771, which will help judges keep human traffickers behind bars. In recent years, criminal street gangs have turned to commercial sex exploitation as a new source of illicit income. While law enforcement has had success curtailing human trafficking operations, their efforts can be hampered by witnesses refusing to testify due to the threat of retaliation. In these instances, prosecutors ultimately settle on a charge of supervising prostitution for those clearly in charge of these operations. The maximum penalty for this crime is only 6 months, the same as the victims they oversee who are victims themselves. Judges need discretion to recognize when this crime is part of a larger operation and deal the necessary blows to these operations and those individuals who manage them. AB 1771 does this by increasing the maximum penalty for supervising prostitution to 1 year and clarifying the activities that can be used as evidence when prosecuting this crime. Here to testify with me today is Mike Arnold, and Mike Arnold from the City of Long Beach.
Thank you, Madam Chair and members. Michael Arnold representing the City of Long Beach and also the Long Beach City Prosecutor's Office. The City Prosecutor in Long Beach is very concerned about gang activity in terms of sex trafficking, and the City Prosecutor believes that this bill is very, very much needed in order to try and get a handle upon those gang activities with respect to these poor individuals who are in the sex trafficking trade. So we certainly urge your aye vote for the measure. Thank you.
Thank you. Other speakers in support?
Ed Behrens on behalf of the Los Angeles County Board of Supervisors in support of the bill.
Sean Hoffman with the California District Attorneys Association, also in support.
Speakers in opposition? Department of Finance?
No file.
Dr. Weber.
But let me just simply say that I appreciate the author and what he's attempting to do. And obviously, we have a lot of bills that are dealing with the issue of sex trafficking and teens. I continue to be concerned about bills that specifically target gang members only, where obviously the issue is much broader than that. And I think we've done a number of things in this House that have addressed the issue. I know in our communities, 182.5 has been a major issue where young people feel that those communities are often targeted more. And I know when we target gang members, it's really a code word for black and brown kids. So I realize that this is a fiscal committee. I may have some issues with it when it goes forward to the floor, and I'll have a conversation with you about it before it does that. But I do have some concerns consistently about these kinds of bills as we move forward to try to create a much more comprehensive view of what's going on, that it becomes an issue of one more additional incarceration or additional penalties or additional something that is there. And I do know that we want to give a lot more discretion to judges, but also take a much more comprehensive view of sex trafficking. So I appreciate what we're trying to do, and I know it's a major issue, and oftentimes we respond, and then there are a number of unintended consequences that occur as a result of our responses.
Thank you. Would you like to respond maybe in your close?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Ms. Weber. I may have misled the committee when I talked about gang issues. The key area that the bill hopes to address is gang issues, but it is not specifically targeted toward gang activities. This bill would apply to anyone managing sex trafficking. So.
Thank you. And I want to thank the author for taking the amendment. I think, as Dr. Weber pointed out, we are trying hard on the sex trafficking bills to try to create a policy that is consistent, that recognizes victims are victims, and we want to make sure that victims who are forced into providing this type of activity are not penalized. We see more and more of that happening with our young ladies in schools. So thank you for working on this, and would you like to close?
Just thank you. Ask for an aye vote. This bill goes after the perpetrator, not the victim. I want to be clear about that.
Thank you. This gets out on a roll call vote. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Thurmond, you're going to present on AB 2756, which enjoys the due pass recommendation.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the committee. We'll keep this brief. Honored to present AB 2756. It's a public health bill. AB 2756 will enhance the Division of Oil and Gas and Geothermal Resources Authority to regulate the oil and gas industry and provide fines. This bill lays out an appeals process for addressing those.
We have a motion by Mr. Quirk and a second by Mr. Wood.
Should you have additional questions, I have one witness here from the Department of Conservation, Mr. Ben Turner. There are other witnesses who also would testify should you wish. Mr. Turner.
Witness in support.
This bill is sponsored by the Department of Conservation. I'm here to answer any questions should you have any. Thank you.
Bill Alio for the Environmental Working Groups. Is an important bill to give DOGGR effective enforcement authority. Thanks.
Madam Chair, members, SRDS on behalf of the State Building and Construction Trades Council, also in support.
Any other speakers in support? Speakers in opposition?
Speaking in support, Keith Nakatani, Clean Water Action. Ask for your support.
Thank you. Are there any additional speakers in support?
Daniel Broad, the Sierra Club of California, in support.
Great. To the opposition, 2 minutes, please.
Sure. Won't even need that much time. Madam Chair, members, Brian White here on behalf of the Western States Petroleum Association. I want to thank the author and the sponsors for, we've had long negotiations over the last couple of weeks on this bill, and it's gotten to a point where we think the bill is in a better shape than where it was when it was introduced, particularly with respect to the penalty process. The bill is now addressing tier penalties, which we asked for, and the fact that there's due process issues that have been particularly resolved. There's just one last clarification we're trying to get with the author, but fiscally, as you know, there's really no cost to it, but on policy, we think this is a better bill than where it was before, but we're still working with the author on this last issue, so thank you.
Thank you. Additional speakers in opposition?
Good morning, Madam Chair. P. Anthony Thomas, representing the California Independent Petroleum Association. Our comments are similar to our counterparts at WISPA. We have submitted a package of amendments of which we feel will not only make the bill more palatable on the policy side, but on the fiscal side as well. So we will reserve our removal of our opposition until our concerns are met and they were actually in print and our members have accepted that. But until then, Madam Chair, we are working with the author and look forward to continuing.
Thank you. Department of Finance. Oh, additional speakers in opposition. Sorry.
Rice, California Manufacturers and Technology Association, would like to align myself with the comments of the previous speakers. We're in a similar position. Thank you.
Thank you. Department of Finance.
No file.
Seeing no questions, Mr. Thurman.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Clearly, this bill protects the public. We've worked with the opposition. We think we've all but neutralized their concerns, so I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Thank you, Mr. Thurman. That gets out on a B roll call.
Thank you.
Mr. Cooper. Mr. Cooper, you will be presenting on AB 1940 and enjoys the due pass recommendation.
Thank you, Madam Chair and members. AB 1940 will require law enforcement agencies that deploy body-worn cameras to develop policies and procedures.
We have a motion by Mr. Bigelow and a second by Mr. Calderon.
Including the recommendations of their best practices. AB 1940 has no state cost. I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Speakers in support.
Madam Chair, members, Randy Perry with Aaron Reed and Associates on behalf of PORAC, sponsors of the bill, and I think it was very well stated by our author. Thank you.
Additional speakers in support.
Madam Chair and members, Matthew Seiberling on behalf of the Association for Los Angeles Deputy Sheriffs, the Los Angeles Police Protective League, and the Riverside Sheriff's Association, all in support. Thank you.
Speakers in opposition.
Good morning, Danielle Kando-Kaiser. On behalf of the Electronic Frontier Foundation, we are in likely support. We are talking with the author's office. Thank you.
Any speakers in opposition? Department of Finance.
No file.
All right, we'll go to questions. I do have one. And obviously, I've seen iterations of body cam bills for a couple years now. I do have questions on the separate right to view the video outside of establishing the policies through collective bargaining. For those units, and there are some who have collectively bargained to not see that video, what happens with those agreements?
Let me answer. Madam Chair, members, Randy Perry again on behalf of PORAC. We have already actually agreed to take an amendment. I think the agreement was going to be either on the floor or in the other house, but we're going to make the bill prospective to cover all negotiated agreements.
Yeah, for instance, LAPD already has come to agreement on theirs. That will not change that language.
Oakland, I think.
Correct.
DSA in San Diego, we have a few.
Correct.
POA
So
and
those
DSA.
agreements, will they when they have an open contract, will they be able to continue to negotiate? Granted, I don't know if they'd want to, but if for some reason the bargaining unit wanted to keep that provision, would they be able to continue to do so?
They would be able to, because they'd be grandfathered in.
Okay, I just want to make sure that that gets in the bill. It just seemed a little...
Well, in Oakland, there's an issue. As you know, they have under a consent decree, so that the association is actually bargaining with the court. And so they're in full support of even making a prospective case. They think at least helps their hand to go back to the court and say, well, if this is the state law, then we should be able to negotiate for this as well.
Great. Thank you for the clarification. Mr. Bigelow.
I just want to thank you, Mr. Cooper, for being proactive in this and working with everyone. From a fiscal standpoint, we're very supportive of this today, but we want to make sure we read all of any other changes that may be made subsequent to this, as it moves forward. So keep me informed, would you?
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Dr. Weber.
Yes, I want to thank Mr. Cooper. I think you've and the Public Safety Committee, I understand, for a lot of the changes in the original bill. I still obviously have lots of concerns with regards to a couple of things. One, the fact that you're writing a policy that will eventually will be put out there and be viewed, but by the time it's viewed, it's already a policy. That's my understanding. It's not a time for input from the public in terms at the local agency level. So you're basically just airing your policy versus having the public influence a policy. So that's a concern, and I guess at some point you may want to address it. Also, the fact that in cases where there has been some kind of physical or violent activity that you have a choice. They have a choice. I guess the agencies would have a choice between having an independent person view it with them, or the supervisor, or both, or something of that nature. And so that seems to, and to me, to a certain extent, somewhat of a conflict. If you're going to have an independent person, it should be an independent individual. So I still have some concerns because of the fact I know that many of the body camera policies were designed to create, hopefully, a better relationship between the public and the and public safety officers. And it seems that there should be greater assurance that that is going to happen, that independence is going to be there versus, supervisors basically analyzing and helping those that they supervise seems to be somewhat of not a conflict of interest, but surely doesn't have the kind of transparency and independence that I would think would be appropriate in order to assure the public that that they feel comfortable with the policies that are coming out. So I still have some concerns. Not sure if it'll solve the problems that we're facing in San Diego and statewide with regards to the public believing that the policy is going to be evenly applied or adequate enough for them to feel that there's been some fairness in it. And we're grappling with policies in San Diego now, and our public still doesn't believe that they have enough in it to assess that it really is designed to create transparency and assurance that this is going to be a fair process to the public. So I think that's what we do policies for, particularly in this area with regards to body cameras and all the things that have happened in the state. So we have to at least make sure that the policy is going to do something to create a positive working experience. And so that's still my concern, because I'm not sure if I see enough public input into the process itself.
And thank you for your comments. I know we met and I spoke with you and took some amendments and some concerns you had also with the ACLU and other groups. I know you were concerned about serious bodily injury. Before the officer can review it, it has to be reviewed with an IA investigator or that person's supervisor. So we did take a lot of suggestions and amendments and a little bit of everything to try and craft this together. I think this is it's a good bill. It works right now, and my hope is that more agencies adopt the body camera policies and buy body cameras so we can get the bad actors out of law enforcement.
Thank you. Is that your close?
Yes, ma'am.
That gets out on an A roll call with Dr. Weber voting no. Move now to Ms. Bonilla. Ms. Bonilla is going to present on 2195, which is a suspense candidate.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair and members. And I do want to just take a few moments on this bill. I do have this bill came to me from my constituent, who will be speaking also on behalf of it. AB 2195 has been significantly amended since the Public Safety Committee to drastically cut the implementation costs of the bill. The bill now requires district attorneys of each county to collect data on the number of individuals charged and convicted of felony murder. The data must be disaggregated by race, sex, and gender and submitted to the Department of Justice annually to include their statewide in their statewide homicide report. I was very surprised when I first heard about the felony murder rule. I didn't understand it. I didn't know it existed. When we talk about the cost of incarcerating our prisoners, we understand that we have roughly 40,000 prisoners in the state of California with life sentences at a cost of $50,000 per prisoner per year. And we have this situation with the felony murder rule that says that in the commission or attempted commission of specified felonies such as burglary, arson, and others, it can be considered murder of the first degree if someone is killed, which carries the possible sentence of death or life without parole for those who are even there while the murder is committed. So they don't have to be the one that pulled the trigger, but maybe they were driving the car, maybe they were there, and that's a problem, and there should be a sentence there. But they can actually be sentenced to life without parole. And we can have other folks in prison who have been sentenced to life who have murdered people who actually are eligible for parole. So I said, well, how many of these prisoners do we have in California who maybe were there when the crime was committed and need to take responsibility for that, but didn't actually commit the murder itself? No one knows. We couldn't find the numbers. The way that this is done within the trial proceedings, it's not listed on the documents. So what my bill does say is at the DA level, if they're going to use this as the charge against the suspect, we want that reported. We want to know how many of these men and women are in our justice system. We know other states have gotten rid of this felony murder rule. Kentucky, Hawaii, Michigan, and Ohio have abolished the felony murder rule. But in California, we don't even know how many of our convicted lifers are convicted based on this. With me today, I have Joanna Shear, a constituent of mine whose family has been impacted by this law.
Thank you, Madam Chair and members. I'm Joanne Shear, Director and Founder of Felony Murder Elimination Project and proud sponsor of Assembly Bill AB 2195, and I'm here to seek your support. My only child, Anthony, was a 20-year-old sweet-spirited, outgoing kid who was serving as an administrative clerk in the Marine Corps. One of the two young men he was with made the decision to shoot someone in the course of retrieving personal property, which the district attorney characterized as burglary. My son is only one of hundreds, perhaps thousands, who are incarcerated for the remainder of their lives for the decision and action of another. They have no hope of rehabilitation or redemption. It is critical to note that first-degree murderers who have killed have the possibility of parole, while my son and others who did not directly cause harm will never be released from prison. I'm a firm believer that everyone should be held fully accountable for their actions, but only in proportion to their participation in the crime they commit. The facts are there are 13 felonies by which one can be charged with felony murder. There are only 2 allowable penalties, death or life without parole. There is currently no data on the total number of those serving life sentences by the use of the easiest murder conviction to win. Nationally, while over the last 40 years crime rates have remained relatively steady, there has been a shocking 500% increase in our prison and jail populations, costing $80 billion per year. This places an extreme financial burden on states and local governments who otherwise could use the money for education, health care, and other essential services and programs proven to reduce crime. At the current rate of $67,000 to house one person for 1 year in California, the price to make this data available is equal to the cost of a little over 4 people for 1 year of incarceration. Passing AB 2195 would be instrumental in bringing justice for those who don't deserve the punishment they've received and bringing changes to our sentencing laws which will promote a fair and effective criminal justice system. I respectfully ask for your aye vote. Thank you so much for your time and consideration.
Additional speakers in support?
Sean Hoffman with the California District Attorneys Association. We have no position on the bill at this time. We do have some concerns with the way that it's drafted. We've been working with the author's office. We also have no comment on how the information will ultimately be used. But the way it's drafted now, it talks about individuals convicted or charged or convicted of felony murder. That's not something that someone is charged or convicted of. They're charged and convicted of murder. It's a theory by which under which they're prosecuted. We think there's probably a better way to draft the bill to ultimately get the information that the author's looking for, and we look forward to working with her on that as the bill moves forward.
Thank you. Any other speakers in support, speakers in opposition? Department of Finance?
We do not have a position on this bill. We estimate that this bill would result in a significant state reimbursable mandate cost and likely significant cost to the Department of Justice related to expanded data collection and reporting requirements.
Any questions? I want to thank you for giving me flashbacks to law school and trying to describe the felony murder rule, which anyone that went to California law school, we spent quite a lot of time on. So would you like to close?
Just to reiterate, this is a data collection bill. It did have bipartisan support in public safety. We can't change the felony murder rule without going out to the voters of California. But we should know how many prisoners are serving time with life without parole under this mandate. I ask for it when it comes up, hopefully, your support.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're going to go to committee members. Mr. Bonta. We're going in alphabetical order. I'm sorry.